Welcome. No. Welcome
No?
to Lawless
Oh, yes.
Podcast with Justin and Clayton. As always, I am Clayton, and this is my best friend. Yeah, Justin.
Oh
And
yeah.
today is an extra special episode because this is a Garbage Boys. We got T-Bone in the house.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. The
Nailed it.
42-inch pythons.
Nailed it.
That was great.
that
That was great.
Yeah.
we've hit the end of my macho impersonation for this episode. Maybe, maybe not.
We'll see.
I wouldn't close. I wouldn't close the door on it.
Yeah, let's just play it by
I'm not
ear,
gonna
man.
put him away. He can have a seat.
See how
Yeah.
the spirit moves.
Let's see what happens.
Welcome to Lawless Podcast with Justin and Clayton. I'm Clayton's my best bud Justin. Extra special. We got T-Bone in the house for Garbage Boys.
T-Bone in the house.
What up?
And
T-Bone. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're gonna get to it later, but today's an even extra special Garbage Boys. We're doing we're stepping up our garbage game today. But before we get to that, let's check in with the fellas.
Yeah, I was trying
What's up, Justin? What were you about to say?
I was just trying to dive right in. I tend to do that. T-Bone, have you watched the Hulk Hogan documentary?
I have not.
That's what I think. That's what got us onto that whole Macho Man genre.
You don't need a reason for that.
That's true.
That's evergreen.
I think that's what got us onto it last week. I ended up watching probably 45 minutes worth of it,
Okay.
and I didn't finish.
Oh,
it.
I got
You-
3 episodes in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's episodic.
Just at a 10,000-foot level, how do they portray the Hulkster? Is he a heel? Is he a hero? Is he a little bit of both?
I think they're giving you Terry and Hulk and
Okay.
kind of the marriage of the two.
Yeah.
They're I don't so far from what I've seen, it's been pretty neutral. Like they're not hiding some of the controversies, but they're definitely not dwelling on them.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Yeah.
his humble beginnings, his dropping out of school, his kind of slow start. Oh, they like some of the wrestlers that were earlier on that were like early in his career, like from his independent. I think it was Florida Wrestling
Florida, yeah.
Association. His first wrestling organization that he was a part of. There were some big names that came out of there, and they open up talking shit about his wrestling. They're like, he could not wrestle. All he could do was bear hug. Like that was his finishing move, was just a bear hug.
Yeah.
And they would, which come to think of it, is a silly finishing move, but he would bear hug these people until they just passed out
Yeah.
in submission.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I guess I'd forgotten about it, but now that you mentioned it, I definitely remember that being one of his fortes.
Yeah.
Was just hugging the life out of
he
people.
Big,
that
big hugger. Big hugger.
Travis, do you remember the wrestling in the basement of Cake Studios?
You know what? I don't think I ever got to go to that. I think you and Dad went. I remember because Dad. I remember Dad arrested the Zebra Kid for DUI, right?
Yeah. And he gave him tickets to the wrestling show.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember seeing it on TV a couple times, but I didn't ever get to experience that live.
Clayton, this was on Sunday evenings, pretty late. I want to say it
Yeah,
like
10 or
it was
11.
after after
After the news, yeah.
after the news, so it would have
Yeah.
been 10:30.
10:30 or 11.
Yeah, it was very organic. They
Yeah.
had I don't even know what the federation was called, but
I don't think there was one.
very low level.
30 to 40 people in the audience, perhaps.
Yeah, they did have
The audio was not on point.
they did have little person wrestling. The little people were represented in this cadre.
Oh yeah. Shout out Albert, my cousin Albert, if you're listening. I have a cousin who did amateur, semi professional wrestling, like kind of like sounds like the Cake News wrestling was. I had a
Yeah.
cousin who was a wrestler who did that, who like WWF, WWE style, but it was the local circuit in Oklahoma City.
There's a guy that was, I think he still probably does train at the jiu-jitsu gym that I was going to. That's doing that. The illustrious Ray Leone, I think, is what he goes by. Seems like he's got something going. Some of his videos are pretty cool.
Are you,
Yeah, I
you
remember.
guys? I don't. Oh, go ahead. I was
But
gonna say I hate to divert so early, but I was about to have a takeoff here with my boom boom and my smelling salts.
yeah, I was just gonna say I remember at some point a couple years ago trying to Google the zebra kid, and there was a zebra kid who came up, and I just did it again just to see if anything had changed, and it was not the guy in Wichita. So I think he stole that name. The actual zebra kid I think was a wrestler over in the UK.
Do you remember? Like we got a handful of those promo pictures,
Mm-hmm.
like the 8x10 pictures that
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
autographed.
yeah, black and white, as I
Clayton,
recall.
how those smelling salts treating you?
I'm tearing it up over here. I'm on my third
They,
round already.
are they getting you amped up?
Well, I got a little move. When the lightning comes down, the ultimate warrior will feel the powers of the gods. I got a little move that I think is a better protocol, helps me absorb better. Is
Okay.
I'll hit both nostrils with the boom boom beforehand. I'll go
Oh yeah, open them up.
lubricate it,
That's
lubricate the
smart.
nostrils,
You're
and
priming.
then
You're priming.
Yep.
this is number four. This is number four right now. Watch this. I shook it up, so it's gonna be strong. Woo!
Un- unfazed.
Didn't even flinch.
And then I'll top that off with some Alp, baby. I got two Alp nines I'm about to throw in here. Like I'm a
If
real American.
You're doubling
if
up on the nines, Sea Dog.
if
Oh my
you
God.
if you end up having a stroke like right now, does she have access to the room? Might unlock the door, clear a path.
No, it's actually barricaded.
Okay.
Joke's on you, baby. Ain't slowing me down. I'm going to the spirit world.
Did you order those Alps online, or can you get those at a store locally, Clayton?
I got them at a Top Shelf Liquor. Shout out Top Shelf Liquor store here in Daphne, Alabama.
Potential sponsor.
Yep, potential sponsor. Giving you a free shout out. The
How,
first one's on the house.
First one's
Top
free.
Shelf.
how do you like those Alps compared to like do you have this free? Do you have those out there?
No, because we're born free around these parts.
It's kind of a
Um,
French spelling. It's more like
That's assumed.
Frey.
Frey.
Yeah. No
You
thanks.
guys are making me feel like my little 6 milligrams here are rookie numbers. I gotta pump those up.
Those are for
No,
kids, dude.
Buck, you're cool.
Yeah,
I'm feeling some peer pressure here.
that's the kids'
Clayton's
dose.
Clayton's double lipping the 9 mil.
You got to triple up to catch up. That's two uppers and a downer is what you
I was
need.
gonna say. Well, I was gonna say you go both. You go both upper decky, or you do one on top, one on bottom.
No, see, I'm so old school. I have decades.
Triangle.
Decades. You do the triangle? I bet you
No, I'm
do.
saying that's what you
I
gotta
got
do.
decades. I got decades of dipping experience under my belt, so it just naturally goes. I have a pocket on my left cheek where
Yeah.
everything just immediately goes
Yeah.
right there.
And I would imagine after all this time, that skin's probably pretty tore up. So you're probably that stuff's probably hitting your bloodstream
Just
faster than it does mine. It's
once
just,
what I
it's a
do-
super highway straight to your bloodstream, right?
the trick
Yeah,
is
dog.
the trick is you do it long enough and you get rid of that pesky gum tissue, and then
Yeah,
you
just
could
get it out
just
of the way.
You got to scrape
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you
It's
just
li-
push it down as much as you can. Try to get as
Yeah,
close to the nerve as possible.
yeah.
That's for the quickest delivery.
It's like when you get a new electronic and you got to peel that film off the front of the screen. That's what you're doing
Yeah,
to your lip. You got to peel that film off.
yeah.
It just
And
gets in
so,
the
Yeah,
way.
just get it out of there. It's just in the way.
Yeah, yeah.
some people like dentists. Sometimes they're hygienists.
They know.
Sometimes people will just like common sense. They'll be like, they'll say maybe that's a bad idea, but that's just ignorance.
Liberal
They don't know.
propaganda.
They
They
just
don't
don't know
know.
better.
I keep waiting for my dentist to ask me if I'm you know using Zens or something. So far they haven't. Maybe they just don't care.
Yeah, you got to
I
up your
assume they
game
have
up.
to.
You
I
gotta
assume they have to know.
on it.
Like they're in there digging around.
Yeah, or maybe it's just not. Yeah, maybe you're doing it right. If they can't tell you, if they can't say, if they don't know, then fuck it, you're good.
I mean, honestly, I'm not
Now,
interested in what 9 out of 10 dentists say. I want to know what the rebel says. I want to know what the one
The
dentist says.
visionary.
yeah,
That's the guy whose opinion I want because he's the one he's not just going with the crowd. He's the one standing up for what he
yeah,
believes in.
Well, I did
he's
have
not playing by everybody else's rules.
That's
I
right.
did
He's a
have
maverick.
hygienist tell me one time that chewing tobacco was better for my teeth than nicotine because the chewing tobacco you spit, and so you're not keeping the chemicals and the sugar and stuff in your mouth.
Yeah.
Whereas these, you just basically have a mouthful of sugar all day. So,
Which I would have done anyway, but
I
this
mean, I
is
normally
different.
have a mouthful of sugar,
Right.
but yeah. So there for a long time, I was like, well, I guess you're telling me that I should just chew tobacco. That sounds like that's
That's how I would
that's what
interpret.
I'm interpreting. What you're telling me.
That's how I would interpret that data.
But then my life insurance policy suggested that I should not use tobacco. So what are you going to do?
Yeah. Again,
They didn't say
it's
anything
their
about
opinion.
nicotine pouches,
They sure didn't. That's a
Yeah,
fact.
that's right.
and you don't have to tell them everything. You don't have to. You don't have to tell life insurance the whatever everything.
Yeah,
Some stuff is just for you.
but the fear that I have is I wonder, like I can imagine, let's say that you are a closeted smoker and you didn't tell your life insurance policy, you didn't disclose that.
Hypothetically speaking,
Hypothetically,
if you were, not anybody we know.
do you
Yeah,
suppose
whatever.
like I'll bet that would be a cause to not pay out.
Oh yeah, I bet it would. Dude, they would find
But
any
you can.
reason possible to not pay out. So they would definitely use that.
Like I wonder if they
What do
would
you
take.
care? You're not going to be here.
Well, yeah, but I'm paying
You're paying for the insurance your whole life.
my family. I'm going to haunt somebody if I find out that I died and they didn't get my life insurance.
Yeah. What I was thinking is the like these flock cameras, like there's uh so much surveillance everywhere now. At some point, they're going to be like, Mr. Crafton, it says here on your form that you don't consume any form of nicotine, but we have a 3 hour supercut of you paying for,
So,
a roll of Zens every week for about the last 3.5 years. Do you want to explain that?
if you had it set, like if you could have a soundtrack,
It was for a
and just
friend.
and just showing you like coming out, just fucking pumped and like yeah, it could be a real highlight role.
Could be. Yeah, could be. We got to look for the silver lining in this stuff, I think.
Um,
Now, how many times a year are you fellas getting dental cleanings? Like, they do the one cleaning, but my dentist wants me to do a deep cleaning 4 times a year.
Your
Is
dentist
that
wants a
right?
boat. Your dentist wants a boat, dude. That's what your dentist wants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
you don't need
I
a
feel
deep
like I've
cleaning
never heard
four
of that.
times a year.
that sounds a
No.
bit extreme.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because those deep cleanings are tough. Like they're going after you
Yeah.
with the hooks. Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
yeah. No,
And they're
I
not
think
gentle.
you're. No, they're not. My dentist doesn't recommend deep cleanings. I mean, it's not like on an as needed basis. Like if you needed one, they would tell you, but it's not like part of the normal regimen. I go twice a year, and then inevitably more than that because My teeth are old, and I have to get like crowns and shit now.
I always have perfect teeth. Got the hiccups. Have been swallowing my elk juice. That's going to be distracting. Every time I go to the dentist, they compliment my teeth, but they say I need these deep cleanings.
It's because you're doing 4 deep cleanings a year.
Do you even have to
Yeah,
like brush
maybe
in
it's like the
between?
tail in between the cleanings.
I mean, if you're doing 4 deep cleanings a year, you could probably cut back on the nightly cleanings, right?
Be like, look, if I'm gonna do 4 deep cleanings a year, I'm not gonna do anything in between. We're just gonna
Exactly.
make it. We're gonna
Yeah,
have a real
you
shitty weekend once a quarter.
Yeah, I basically I haven't really been to the dentist. Man, it's been too long, and I don't remember why I stopped going.
Just didn't like the vibes.
I didn't like what they were telling me. That had a
Right.
lot that had a
Yeah.
lot to do with it.
Yeah. That's
I did.
fair. You got to protect your peace, dude.
That's right. I know my
yeah.
worth. I
Yeah.
know my
That's
worth,
right.
and I know what I'm. I know what my teeth are bringing to this conversation, and sometimes I just don't like the way they're treated.
Yeah.
I don't
I
like the way
mean,
they
but
talk
and
about
I'll,
my teeth.
like you like
Yeah.
applesauce, right? So what's the big deal? Steak is expensive. Applesauce is cheap. You can get like a 12 pack for like $4 at Aldi's.
That's true.
Well, and you can always put steak in a blender.
Yeah.
You can always puree that
That
thing.
that was a little story time with Uncle T here. That was one of the gnarliest things I've ever seen in my life. It wasn't steak. I walked into a McDonald's with a coworker of mine 25 years ago, and there was a bus load. We'll call it a short bus load of kids at McDonald's, and one of the teachers or the whatever you call them had like brought in
Teachers,
their
that's
Supervisors, the handlers,
teachers
yeah
is what we normally
supervisors
call.
or caregivers or whatever.
the
They
wranglers.
bought a Happy Meal for this kid, and they put the whole thing in the blender, the French fries and the cheeseburger, and they made a gray slurry out
Yeah.
of it. And I mean, I'm not laughing at this kid because obviously he had some
Yeah,
issues,
yeah.
and you know he deserves joy as much as the next person. But that's not what I was prepared to look at while I was getting ready to order my double quarter pounder with fries and a Coke.
Ooh, excuse me.
Yeah, that
Can you
kind of
tell
put me
me?
off my lunch.
Can you prepare mine like his over there? That looks interesting. Do
Now,
you
I've
suppose?
worked at a McDonald's, and I don't remember any blenders hanging out in the back of the kitchen.
No, I think that's why they had to bring their own. Like this lady literally brought in her own blender and she plugged it in like under
Oh
the
no!
table. Yeah, no, it wasn't a menu option. We're gonna take the bull by the horns here and make sure our dude gets his McD's.
I'd like no onions, extra pickles, and blended.
Double whip, double whip on that cheeseburger, please.
Can you puree this for me, please?
Ugh.
The Mc,
I mean, in theory, it would taste the same, right? Do you think it would?
I mean,
I
that's
mean,
what you're
I'm
doing. You're chewing it all
You're
up and blending it.
I suppose. I'm kind of a texture guy, so I'm gonna have a problem with it.
There's going to be some barf involved.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Uh, that might
Now,
be
I
that
think this
might be
little
a,
guy might be onto something. I think, I think there's an opportunity here. You could prepackage some
Yeah.
blended
Yeah, I mean, Justin, like when you do
Big
your
Macs.
Ragnar runs, if you just had a pouch that you could just
just,
so you don't have to
Found our
stop
market.
running. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
honestly, I could see Joe Rogan selling something like that on his podcast. Like, you know, you're out there hunting whatever up in the mountains of uh, Wyoming or wherever
Montana.
his ranch is, or Montana. Um, yeah, I could see that, or like just like you know, end of days type shit. You just get a case of those for when the kids need a little treat.
and maybe you don't have time to chew.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. If you're locked in,
Yeah, just
you don't have time.
Yeah.
Okay, I've come full
I
circle.
could use some of that.
I think that again, I would probably barf, but I can see some real value in doing that. Um, you might be
It's
onto
possible
something
they were
there.
just ahead of their time.
It's totally possible.
What are we? Are you programming a bomb over there? Are you diffusing
No,
something?
I got myself all heated up laughing at my own jokes. Just turn a little fan on here. It's too loud. I'll turn it off. I don't know if it's coming through or not.
Oh,
It's
no, we don't
certain.
hear it at all.
It's certainly not coming in over my clicking and whatever else. I've got my hands grasped firmly on my arms.
Do you have a
So
fidget? Do you have a fidget toy on your desk that it's you're just like
He's got plenty of them.
you're
so many.
It's
you're white
keys, a
knuckling it to
pen, a
try to
water
not grab
bottle.
that thing?
I got this thing the other day, which is actually a lot of fun. It's called a boxing
Happy fun
ballin'.
ball.
You strap this to your head, and it's got this thing out here
Yeah.
that you punch it and it comes back.
Hits you square in the nose.
Well, give us a demonstration.
Okay,
Stand up. Give us a demonstration.
I'm
Talk
pretty good
about
at
me
it.
about
Say
it.
something loud. There you go. Say something loud so the camera gets on you.
Oh, see, this is gonna be for. Hang on.
No, it's going good.
I'm pretty good if I'm being honest. Um,
Yep.
Or when you're this is where when you fight, you're training to fight children.
you see this action? I got 200 of these the other day.
I think that was about 9.
200 nonstop.
That's impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It's something.
I got that. I got this little fidget spinner here, little cactus. I got all kinds of things to keep my hands busy.
Yeah, I'm into the fidget spinners. I tend to use the Zen can. Like I'll spin it. Just do this number while I'm watching TV. Sometimes I'll give it a little flip and see if I can catch it in one hand. How many times I can do that?
You know, one thing that
Little
is
trick.
absolutely missing from this type of oral pleasure is you can't pack it, or
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's just no need to.
You know what? I actually do that, but it's just because what I saw dudes doing with their dip. I know it's not doing anything, but it's just the ritual of it, I
Yeah,
think.
for
And I
sure.
always felt like I missed out on a little bit because I never really chewed tobacco before when I was like in high school or anything, but I saw the guys doing it and just giving it that little snap.
Clayton, you're pretty
Interesting.
you're experienced both with smokes and chewing tobacco. Were you the kind of guy,
Pardon me.
allegedly? Were you the kind of guy that, like,
Allegedly.
did you pack your pack of smokes before you would take one?
Well, it's at risk of offending anyone, and that's definitely not what I don't want to offend anyone.
I'm so curious what you're about to say.
It's stupid if you don't pack a pack of cigarettes before you take the cellophane off of them,
Oh damn!
because an unpacked cigarette burns way too fast,
Yeah.
and I feel like the flavor is different. It's like it's lighty, it's more airy. You're not getting a heavier draw. You're not getting a fuller draw.
Too much. You're
You
getting
have
too
to
much
pack.
air. Like not enough
much air.
smoke, not enough soot. Like you need.
Yeah, too much oxygen. I'm not trying to get oxygen with this. I ain't wasting time. I'm
Yeah.
wasting a cigarette and I'm wasting every single drag. You're
I'm
just
not.
silly.
I'm not here to
You're
suck
foolish.
air. I'm here to suck nicotine, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tar.
Yeah. What am I doing? Wasting time?
You're leaving precious
Now, I'm not
precious
the only one.
carcinogens on the table if you don't pack that thing.
Well, that's sounds like more liberal propaganda. Justin, I'm not the only one that smokes cigarettes. Don't try to push this all off on me.
No.
I know. Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
No. I miss my relationship with cigarettes probably every day, at least several times a week.
Yeah, as you should.
But I was never. I never really. I would see people packing them, and I thought that they looked cool, but I never really did that.
There's just
So you
there's
just smoked airy, fluffy cigarettes.
I had no idea. I had no idea what I was missing out on.
Yeah,
Do,
wasting your
do you
fucking
guys
time
ever
is what you're doing.
do, do you ever think about how like cigarettes are really the only thing that in the
Satisfies.
in the well just it's interesting to me, and I'm not the first person to say it. I read an article about this not too long ago, but somebody was talking about how cigarettes are like this uniquely cool thing in the culture, like, and they've
Yeah,
always been that way. Like if you were making a movie and you wanted to make somebody look cool, you'd give them a cigarette. You know,
yeah.
cowboys smoke cigarettes. Like uh, a pack of
It
cigarettes
it brings
rolled up in
whatever
your
you're
sleeves.
doing.
Like it, there's nobody who doesn't look cooler with a cigarette in their mouth. I've had this conversation with one of my other buddies for years. It's like, show me a picture of a guy smoking a cigarette and tell me he wouldn't look tell me he would look just as cool without that. And the answer is no, he wouldn't.
Yeah. The same as kid.
Of
Like
course not.
sometimes you'll see a picture in like a third world country where a little kid is smoking,
Yeah.
and they want you to feel bad for that kid, but I don't. I'm just like that
Yeah,
kid has
yeah.
already figured out
That
what
kid
most
rips.
people. Yeah, it takes a lot of people a long time to figure this out, but that kid, he's already got it.
I mean, and even like, have you ever seen a picture of a monkey smoking a cigarette?
Fuck it, yes.
Like, can you
Cool.
Fucking
did you
coolest
think
ass
a
monkey.
monkey could get any cooler until you saw one with a cigarette?
Nope.
I didn't.
No.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
also it brings up the vibe in whatever activity you're. If you are mowing the lawn, if you're working on your car, if you're having a conversation, you just get done making sweet, sweet love to your partner. You know, whatever you get done eating, you get done watching a movie, whatever it is, you want to bring this up a notch? Let's rip a butt.
That'll do it.
Yeah, rip a dart.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
you're not
dude.
wrong.
I was actually just saw I actually just saw I saw an Instagram post just today, and somebody was talking about how it was interesting the way you said it, Justin, because you said you missed your relationship with cigarettes, and that's what they were talking about. But what's essentially what they were saying was, I don't miss I don't miss the cigarette. I miss the opportunity to, like, it's sort of the last thing you could do where you just didn't feel any pressure to be productive. Like now, it used to be when people would get stressed or whatever, they'd step outside and have a smoke. Now people just pull up their phones. And so it's like the idea that if you could go back to that relationship you had with cigarettes before, just like having just a point in the day where you could just stop what you were doing and just
Yeah.
kind of just not focus on anything else. You're not looking at your phone. Nobody's trying to sell you anything. You're not making content. All you're doing is just being like in that moment. And they were talking about how that feels like it's really missing from most people's lives today.
I saw.
That is the activity.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the focal point that you can stop what you're doing. You can stop working, like you can stop reading, you can stop whatever you're doing and just do that for just like 5 minutes
A couple
And be
thoughts.
fucking awesome.
and look so cool when you're doing it.
So I,
Yeah.
I've real I
Go ahead,
realized
Jeff.
recently. I realized recently how often I conflate the idea of reading an article and seeing an Instagram post. Because
Yeah.
I was going to say I read an article, and that's not true. I didn't read an article. I saw a post that said that cigarettes are actually making a comeback with the younger generation, and I had lots of hope. I was like, okay, things are turning around. But I will say, in all seriousness, I think one of the things that I loved the most about it was the camaraderie. Like I always felt more connected to the people that, like, because it's kind of an outcast crowd,
Yeah.
like you have
It's
to
a
go
smaller
out,
tribe.
you have to go outside to do it. You're Unless you're in a really awesome place where you can smoke inside, which that smoking inside is next level. Like That's so fulfilling,
Can you
especially
imagine,
if you can smoke in somebody's house,
man?
dude.
Can you imagine like taking a flight back in the early '70s
Would have been
and
great.
you just lighten up after the stewardess brings you your Jack and Coke or whatever?
Yeah,
Those days are long
Yeah.
gone.
yeah. Um, but I always did feel a special camaraderie with the group, with the smokers outside wherever you were, whether it's a concert or a restaurant or a bar, or whatever. I
I
think I
think
missed that.
I think Jesus would have smoked.
Oh hell
I
yeah,
think he would have been outside the bar with
Fuck
the
yeah.
smokers.
hell
Yeah,
yeah.
He definitely would have been with the smoking crew. Yeah, he would have been with the smokers,
yeah,
whether he was having a butt himself or not.
And you probably would never run out of smokes either. He'd be like, "Oh, you think you're out?
Yeah.
Give that pack
I
one
mean,
more look."
Check again.
if
Put
if
that
he
back in your
could
left pocket.
if he could do it with if he could turn water to wine, he could probably turn like pretzels into Marlboro Reds.
Yeah. Cast that net on the left hand
That
side of
doesn't
the
feel
boat.
like a
See what happens.
stretch.
Um, T, I think you had a little bit of current events or just some stuff in the zeitgeist you've been noticing lately.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk a little bit about UFOs every time I chop it up with you guys, and there's been some crazy shit happening in the UFO disclosure community recently. I sent you guys one
But
post.
could any UFO time of disclosure feel like more of a hoax than this UFO disclosure?
Uh,
I say that just because I feel like everything's been a distraction from the previous distraction, and
oh
no
yeah,
one wants more UFO or UAP disclosure than this guy right here. Like,
yeah,
I want to believe,
yeah,
but like coming right now, anything that the government says, period, I'm going to question, but especially when in this season of distraction, where it's
yeah,
just another distraction, like I said, from the latest distraction, like, oh man, I'm assuming now this is all a lie.
yeah.
But what's the stuff that you've been seeing?
Well, I mean, so the government like dropped a bunch of files the other day, which I obviously haven't taken time to go through, but some people on Reddit did, and they found some interesting stuff. But I guess just up until now, most of the videos that have been that were sort of out there were impressive, but also it was like you know FLIR footage from an airplane, and like there's a blob that's going real fast and then maybe changes directions. But there was that video that a Ukrainian drone operator captured, where it's probably the clearest video that I've ever seen. It was that one that was like circular and it had like spikes coming off of it or
The
whatever.
spikes off of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one I think kind of got my attention just because every time something comes out, it's like there's a bunch of people who are excited about it and a bunch of people who are like, you idiot, that's a friggin' balloon. Or it's like 50-50, like the naysayers and the people who think it's actually something. But this particular video, like I don't know what it could be. It certainly nothing I've ever seen before.
That was one of the ones that.
That is the one that I've noticed. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that was. So I saw. I think it was just a still shot initially, and like it looks like I don't know if it would be like a nautical star or an 8-pointed star, but it was a shape that I had it was a yeah, it was a shape that I recognized, and I was really intrigued by it. But then I saw a couple days later people saying that no, it's clearly a parachute or a weather balloon or who knows what, and then I was bummed. And then I saw another one where it looked even clearer than the first one, and so now I'm back to thinking, well, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever done this before or not, but we could do a little screen share here and show the folks at home what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh yeah.
Submit the request and I'll approve it.
let's see here. Yeah, and so if you look at the when you look at the video of this thing, it's you can it I don't think this particular article has video with it or not. We can yeah. Mostly just wanted to show the shape of this thing, which just is interesting, right? It definitely doesn't look like a party balloon, which is what I think a lot of
So
those things tend to get chalked up to.
that one, that's actually a different one than I had seen.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah. So the one I had seen, it just looked like a nautical star where it had like it had 8 points. Have you seen anything about like the different alien type beings that are either have been here or are here, or any like I saw something that was suggesting that there were a handful of alien races that like were among us. You see anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, and granted, I'm no expert on the subject. I've heard people talking about it. There was kind of an interesting thing I read the other day, and one of the videos I think that kind of got released with that latest drop from the government was there's a video where there was this sort of like amorphous blob kind of thing that got picked up that was flying through the atmosphere at some point, and at one point it kind of like broke off into a smaller blob, or people were saying it looked like it actually like gave birth to like a smaller version of itself. um, but one of the like interesting theories that I hadn't heard before was that people, everybody kind of talks about UFOs and like assumes that they're from somewhere else. But one of the newer theories that I've heard is that maybe it's just that maybe we're just starting to learn about life that lives in our atmosphere that we just hadn't seen before. Like instead of thinking about something coming here from another planet, it's just as possible that there's just things that like maybe operate at a frequency that we don't see with our eyes, or there could be some environmental change that's making them more visible than they used to be. So I think, I guess the thing is like nobody really knows anything, and I think that's basically what the government is saying is that we don't know what this shit is, but here's some pictures of what we've seen. Um, but yeah. Interestingly enough, though, Clayton, you were talking about like disclosure being a distraction from the last distraction, which was a distraction from the distraction before that. There's a movie coming out
Yeah.
here in June, right? Spielberg's new movie is called Disclosure Day, and the entire premise of the film is um, there's some sort of government worker who, it's hard to tell from the trailer, may or may not be an alien himself, but he has access to these files that the government has kept from everybody, since they, you know, for as long as they've had them, right? 70 or 80 years or whatever. And he devises this plan to disclose this information to the entire world all at once and just show everybody what they know, right? And so the premise of the movie obviously is there's people who are trying to stop him because they don't want to like upend the global order or whatever. But there are a lot of people, and I think Spielberg himself has even kind of hinted at this, that like he thinks that if it happens, it's probably going to be something like that. It's not going to be something that comes like through an official government channel. But there's a lot of people who've kind of speculated that they even wonder if like this movie that Steven Spielberg is getting ready to release, like is that going to be sort of like a form of disclosure? Like how much how much of that movie is based in like reality, right? I don't know.
We've talked about that before, Justin, on here, and maybe T-Bone, you've been a part of these discussions before or not, I don't remember, but how the media has, like, since the 50s has been dropping breadcrumbs here and there, like
Hmm.
I think to get people ready. I mean, I don't know if I think that was the purpose, but the idea is that um, media, movies, songs, TV shows, definitely magazines or comic books, whatever. There's all sorts of things that have been UFO focused to where, like, if this stuff were to come out in the 50s, you imagine people's heads exploding. They're like, oh, a demon,
Yeah.
But today, I mean, literally what's happening right now is all this stuff is coming out. The government is releasing all these footages, this footage of all these instances, and it seems like people couldn't be bothered with it. They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing that's kind of like always blown my mind ever since whenever it was 2017 or 2018 when like when the Navy admitted that they had these videos and the New York Times got them and the Navy was like, yeah, that's real. We don't know what that is. Because I always just thought that when that happened, like it would be the most cataclysmic thing in the world, and everybody would be like, "Oh my God, they're real, right?" But it doesn't seem like anybody really cares. Like,
You're still paying four twenty
yeah,
nine for a gallon of gas. You still
yeah,
got to pay
that's
your
right,
taxes.
that's
Still
right.
got to.
Still gotta go to work tomorrow.
But do you think
We still got
when
service members dying for Israel.
Mm,
when when people say that if you only knew, like, it would destroy the fabric that holds our society together, and you'll people will cry themselves to sleep at night. And they say all of these make all these extraordinary claims. Is that a case, do you think, of somebody just being like, "Whew, wouldn't you like to know what I know?"
yeah, I think
Or
so.
do you think that, like, what could possibly be learned that would destroy the fabric of society? Like, what information could you possibly have that people would be crying themselves to sleep at night?
There was a thing last week or the week before where some TV evangelist, I don't remember his name. He basically went on X or something and said that he had gotten invited to this meeting with I can't remember the Burleson, Congressman Burleson from I think he's from Missouri. There's a couple of Congress people who are really into this stuff, like Tim Burchett and Anna Paula Luna and Burleson. I think are the three that are kind of like on the committee or whatever. And he said that on this call, he was told that they had been in contact with these entities, and the entities basically said, "We created you. Everything that you have thought of as religion came from us." Like they're basically said that um, we put you here on Earth. We've orchestrated all of this, and like I'm trying to remember what exactly what he said about it, but he was kind of, I think he was sort of framing it up as like that's the reason why they don't want you to know, because they're afraid that if people think that it's going to basically upend religion as we know it. And then he walked that back pretty quickly. And I don't know if that was like if he got pressure to do that or if somebody was like, dude, what are you talking about? That was not what was said. And he kind of like he came out like a day or two later and said, I misspoke. What I meant was that was my understanding. That's not what they actually said, but that was different than what he said the first time. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that probably is like I think that's the big fear is that um, they keep a lot of control over people by maintaining a voting block of deeply religious people, and I'm sure that they're concerned about what would happen if they lost that voting block. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just think I think there's just been so much shit that's happened over the last 10 years that people really are just like, unless it's going to unless it's going to make my healthcare affordable, I don't really have time to deal with it because the only
Yeah.
thing that I have healthcare for right now is because I go to work every day. And if I don't do that, then, I'm not really interested in your little green men or whatever you want to call them.
If I were a betting man, I think that's what I think my money would be on them finding that our origin came from uh, some sort of alien life.
Yeah. Yeah. That to me,
See,
that
I
that
think
makes the
that
most sense.
everything they're saying right now is fake. I think everything that they're saying right now is I just don't believe it. I can't believe anything that comes out through official channels right now because
Yep.
I mean, as I hate to say, especially from this administration, but it would be kind of from any administration, like knowing now what I didn't know back then is they always tell you what they want you to know. Like anything
Yeah.
that they give you is what they want you to know and in the way that they want to say it. Like they will control the narrative. They being either the government or the channels that the stuff comes from, like any sort of major media or whatever. It's always what they want you to know and how they want to spin it. Like honestly, like unless it comes from a personal experience, I can't take it whole hog unless or from someone that I personally know. And even then, I'm going to question like, well, where were you when this happened? Like, were you under the influence of any substances? What's the situation that was going on? Like how much sleep have you been having? Have you been watching movies when this was going on? Did you
Yeah.
just wake up? Did you have surgery recently? Like, I, there, there's so many, for this, for it to be like Tim Burchett said, it's going to be indigestible, or it's going to be shatter the fabric of reality and yada yada. I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
I just can't buy it.
Do you think that? So what's your best guess as to what's actually going on?
Oh, I think it's just another distraction. I think
Well, you're not saying that you don't think that alien life form exists, right?
oh no, no, I'm not saying that. I think it's pretty immature and pretty closed-minded to think that we're the only planet on in the universe that has any intelligent life in it. I mean, I kind of base my whole philosophy right now, my whole framework of reality on an intelligent creative consciousness of the universe. And I think it would be, like I said, pretty immature to think that this planet is the only spot where that's happened. What I'm saying is if it comes from if it's on Fox News or CNN, I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I'm still gonna have to I'm gonna have to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've always thought like the idea that life wouldn't exist anywhere else in the universe just always seemed ludicrous to me. Like to me, it's like it would be like the microbes in a drop of lake water not believing that there was life outside of their little drop of lake water. Like that's, and I don't even think that you could take a drop out of the ocean, and I don't know that that would accurately represent the scale of the universe, right? It's like it's
Right.
inconceivably large. And even the parts
Yeah.
of it that we can see are inconceivably far away from us. And so
Yeah.
the idea that in this vast space our you can't even express it in a number in terms of how small we are compared to the rest of the universe. The idea that we would be the only part of this entire thing that has life or intelligent life on it just seems just the I don't even have a word for how insane that is to me.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, it's just the source. Yeah, it's just the source from where this information is coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, if anybody believed that Donald Trump was going to be the one to finally pull the curtain back on the UFO mystery, like, come on, come on. So no, I'm with
Yeah.
you. I don't think I would believe probably any government if Bernie Sanders was president and he told me, I don't think I would believe it because I just think there's too many. I think there's too much at stake for the people who run things to ever really be honest about most things, really, but especially something like that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just seems though like with the videos and things that have been released is that like maybe they've been given something that they now have to give an answer for, and so I tend to agree. In fact, I wholeheartedly agree that if it comes from an official channel, it's probably not true. But there are like whatever this is, it's probably not their explanation, but it's something.
Yeah, I think it probably is a situation where they knew that they can't keep all of this stuff locked down forever because there's just too much, there's too much out there in terms of like how the access that people have to information now. And you've got Anthropic um, creating an AI model that is so good at detecting security vulnerabilities in networks that they decided that they couldn't responsibly release it to the public. Like they're the like technology is moving so fast and AI is progressing so quickly. I imagine that they probably are looking at the secrets that they have and saying, okay, we have to assume that at some point, at least some of this stuff is going to get out. So we have to start creating a narrative around it that we can control. And so when they say, that's going to be the disclosure administration, yeah, they're probably leaking out little bits and bobs, just stuff that they can say that they're being transparent about. But I just have to imagine there's probably warehouses full of stuff that they'll never at least willingly or knowingly let us know about.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you got to look at the track record. Is It's been like with the Transparency Administration, it's been the opposite
For
of
sure. Yeah.
Transparency Administration. Like everything you said that you were going to release, not only did you not release, you actively blocked. You
Right.
actively did the opposite of everything you said you were going to do. And I'm just supposed to assume that this case is different
Yeah.
because it's what I wanted. Well, I wanted
Right.
all that other shit too.
Yeah.
Well, um, we can pull up some UFO stuff more later, but how do you boys feel about giving out some advice?
Let's
Because I
do
think
it.
all three of us are pretty qualified. We
Thoroughly.
have a couple we have a couple genres here I alluded to earlier. We have I think our main forte is religious advice because all three of us are religious church boys. We also have life advice, and I pulled three questions for each one of these subjects from Reddit. So it's totally unbiased. They're not writing to Lawless. They're writing to the universe, and it's just
Okay. We're gonna
garbage
weigh
boys are
in.
gonna
Yeah.
weigh in on it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
We got church religious advice, life advice, and then the last section, which doesn't have as much substance, but I think we have the most to really talk about, is confessions.
Yeah.
And we can add our own into confessions also.
when so confessions, this is somebody going on Reddit or the internet and confessing something. Is that the idea?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's from it's from what do you call a group on Reddit? Like a page?
A
It's from a
subreddit?
okay, it's from a subreddit of
Yeah.
confessions.
Okay. Uh,
Uh
I,
J-Dub?
I'm ready for some religious advice.
yeah, I was going to say that. Let's church it up in
Yeah,
here. Since we were
That's
talking about
let's
smoking and
church it
stuff so
up.
much earlier, we need to church it up a little.
You know, one thing that I know we've talked about this before, Clayton. The church smokes. That's a group that I never hung out with. And honestly, I've never been to a church where there was enough smokers to have a smoking group.
Mm.
But that would be
Yeah.
a cool that'd be a cool group of guys to hang out with.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how much more fun Bible study would have been if you're just sitting around drinking coffee and having a smoke while you're talking about
Hmm.
the book of Job or
I I do
Galatians.
I do have to say that I did have a Bible study one time where we smoked pipes and drank beer.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, there was a minute. There was a minute where sort of the edgy Christians, uh, Justin, you and I probably would have considered ourselves among the edgy Christians, where we'd smoke cigars, maybe have a beer or two, and you know, and we told ourselves, well, C.S. Lewis
yeah,
smoked, so
yeah. Well, it just a word of caution that earned us. I won't say who it was, but that earned one of the pastors of our church caught wind of it and was window peeping in the house where this was taking place to catch us
I
in the act.
I recall that very clearly.
Not a shocker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he wanted to see
Not a
it for
shocker to have a
himself.
pastor window peeping.
had to confirm.
Yeah. He did come to
Before I
me
get
and
started,
confess that, Justin. Did he ever talk to you about that?
No,
Yeah, he came to me. He came to me directly
why
one time.
were you there? Were you
I
part
was
of
there.
the?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
okay.
there. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
no.
he he confessed the sin of window peeping to me and asked my forgiveness. And I was like, "That's all right, dude. Don't worry about it."
really? What a
Yeah.
fucking nerd. Um, when I was in Afghanistan, we had a chaplain who had a Bible study group called Holy Smokes. And it wasn't much of a Bible study group as much as it was just like just a camaraderie, a social gathering
Yeah.
where he would smoke a cigar and people would go and either smoke a cigar or smoke a cigarette or smoke whatever. I mean, it was legal. It was in the military. It was actually, like I said, in Afghanistan, so you had to be extra well behaved. But not saying that everybody was extra well behaved. But yeah, I was part of a church group that was centered around smoking. Centered, not centered, centered.
Centered.
Yeah,
I mean, it still
centered. All
applies.
them centereds.
All
Centered.
right, what you got for us?
Yeah, hit me.
All right, uh, first up, the subject, the heading of it was unequally yoked.
Mm.
This writer says,
Can I pause you real quick?
excuse me, yeah, for sure.
Teapot, what's your gut reaction as to what this will be about? Unequally yoked.
Unequally yoked. That's a believer married to a non-believer, right?
That's an example.
Okay.
Um, I had seen this applied to interracial couples.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
I heard that thrown out around a lot when I was dating a black chick in my Pentecostal circle as a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Prem,
never, I don't think we heard that as much in Kansas, maybe as you might have in Oklahoma. But I'm sure there were people who would have, who would have made that or used that interpretation. I think that was probably a large basis for the people who thought that interracial marriage should be illegal, particularly in the South. I think they probably used that scripture quite a bit.
I can't tell you exactly where I heard it, but I distinctly remember that being brought up as one of the reasons why interracial,
Hmm.
and they were careful to say we're not saying that it's sin, it's just a bad idea.
Right.
You're
Think
you're
about think about your kids.
you're
What are your kids going to go through?
unequally
Right.
yoked.
Yeah. No, I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Okay, so proceed.
Unequally yoked. I grew up in church, got baptized at 19. It's actually pretty late, if I'm being honest. Got
Yeah.
baptized at 19, married at 20 to escape an abusive home. After 6 years of emotional and financial abuse, I wanted out. The church shamed me for it, told me I had made my choice. That divorce was sin, even as I described the abuse. I retreated, kept my faith. It wasn't the same as everyone else in the area. Then I met my boyfriend, who's agnostic. Almost 5 years together now, living together, sin, for about 3 years. He's the kindest, most caring person I know. He loves deeply people, animals, me. Our core values align completely. He's given me my space and resources to discover myself. I'm going to read this a little bit faster. It's lengthy. Things I've never got as a kid. Gaming, crafts, just freedom. He wanted our future kids to explore faith if they choose. He respects my spirituality. I'm the happiest I've ever been. But last year, I reconnected with the church through a friend. Almost immediately, I felt shame for living with my boyfriend. The word unequally yoked started echoing. I started wondering, am I going to be cursed? Will I bring misfortune to my kids' lives? I was in church, life group, volunteering. The life group I knew, the life group knew I was living with my boyfriend. At first, they accepted it. They said they understood. I was rediscovering my faith. Then I was judged, questioned, discouraged from continuing the relationship. I realized that to avoid further judgment, I couldn't let people know who I really was. I was hiding a core piece of myself, so I left again. And I started deconstructing, asking why I feel shame for being with someone I love, why the church made me choose between happiness and faith. The problem, even though I intellectually understand that unequally yoked is taken out of context, that it's about pagan practices, not agnostic partners, that our relationship is healthy, I still feel the dread. There's a voice in my head, installed by the church, that says I'm going to hell, that I'm cursed, that my kids will suffer. My question: how do you let go of spiritual trauma when your logic has deconstructed, but your nervous system hasn't? How do I hold genuine happiness while grieving the faith I was taught? How do I silence a voice that won't listen to reason? Even if my deconstruction is wrong, but I'm at peace, how do I continue to have peace? Because fact is, we didn't meet Jesus. We don't know for certain what's right and wrong. But how do I find peace? Hmm.
That's a big one. That's a big question.
Yeah, I think that's something
Yeah,
we
so
talked.
so she
We I was gonna say we talked about that
I
recently,
was
where
go ahead.
we've got a little bit of a delay going on here.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all good.
we talked about that recently, where you can get to a point where you recognize, like mentally and from a logical perspective, you can acknowledge that you are not as flawed as you can possibly be.
Hmm.
That the idea of total depravity or original sin says that you come into this world just as wicked and evil as you can possibly be.
Hmm.
And you can get past that from a logical perspective, but I don't know how you get that out of your bones. I don't know how you change that fundamental perspective to where you feel what you now believe.
Hmm. Yeah, I actually had a conversation with my therapist about that recently, and I'll in case you guys are waiting for some sort of profound answer, I don't have one because she didn't have one either. But I asked a very similar question, like, we were talking about I don't remember what the scenario was, but I told her, you know, this is this is how I was feeling, and I think it's because of this idea that I always had that that I had to put myself last. I had to put everybody else in front of me. I could never prioritize my own well-being or happiness. It always had to come after I made sure that everybody else was taken care of. And she was like, but you know that that's not true, right? And my response was something like, yes, I know that it's not true. I know I know that in my head, but I don't know how to change that in my body because my nervous system still responds as if that is that's the source code. That's the
Hmm.
operating system that my nervous system runs on, and I don't know how to change that.
Yeah. What were you
Well,
saying, Clayton?
well, at the risk of, I don't know, maybe sounding too simplistic or yeah, I guess just too simplistic or optimistic, I kind of do have an understanding of how this works, or at least how it's worked with me. Um, if like say you have a cup of coffee or a pot of coffee and it's just constantly being filled with dark coffee with black, pure coffee right from the filter or right from the drip. Well, if you turn that coffee pot off and say, "Oh, I don't need any more of that coffee," that pot is still going to be filled with that coffee. Now, it's impossible when in the context that we're talking about. Like you can't just pour all that stuff out and, even then you're going to be empty. Like in this analogy, in this example, you're going to be empty and there's still going to be a void there. What the only thing that I found in my personal experience that helps alleviate this, and it's not quick and it's not easy, is you have to slowly start filling it full of some other liquid. You have to
Yeah.
slowly start putting other stuff in there. And it takes a long time. Um, but that's the only thing that I found that works is the process of like with me at first it was Tony Robbins and Deepak Chopra. That was the first kind of input I had that wasn't directly from the church that was nourishing, but it was something else. And it even questioned and challenged those foundational things. And then it was lots of stuff like podcast, um, Ram Dass, and my own, that led to Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung and other spiritual teachers and other things that I had to slowly start reprogramming myself. Just because you turn that tap off, you're still going to have all of that in you. Now
Mhm.
you have to find something that scratches that itch, but isn't that harmful theology that you were being pumped full of. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to work at it. You have to start going to therapy. You have to start having honest conversations. And this might be the hardest part, but it's a necessary part, is you have to let that stuff in. You can't just say, "Oh, good idea out here." No, you have to believe it and you have to act on it. You have to let your words match these things that you want to believe. Say it as if it were so. You know what I mean? Almost
Mm-hmm.
speak it into existence. Like, no, no, I am a good person. This is a healthy relationship. I'm not totally depraved. And like even for a second that brings relief and then that goes away pretty quick after. Well, fucking say it again and keep, bring it more sources into you and replace all of that negative. And eventually, like if I were to take that pot of coffee that's filled with black coffee and put it in my sink and turn the faucet on like a slow trickle faucet, it's not that pot of coffee is not going to instantly turn into a pot of pure water, but it'll eventually start becoming more diluted, more diluted. Eventually, it'll get a little bit clearer. And after some time, all of that coffee will be gone. It might be
Yeah.
stained on the outside. You might have a look. That pot might always have a coffee taste to it, and that's cool. That's you too. But the only way to get past this and to silence the voice that won't listen to reason is to listen to to have other inputs and to
Yeah.
act on those other inputs.
I think that's right. And I think that I think it's just such a slow process that sometimes it doesn't feel like anything's
It
changing,
sure is.
right? It's like, but I, I can, speaking for myself, um, even as I was saying that to, even as I was having that conversation with my counselor, I could look at I could look at my life. I could look at the way I think about things, the way I handle situations now, and I can tell that it's better, right? Like even the
Yeah.
fact that you're asking yourself the question, I think, is an indication that your thinking is evolving. But like any evolution, like you said, it doesn't happen quickly, and sometimes the change is so small as to almost be imperceptible. But I think that over time, if you continue doing the things that you talked about, Clayton, that I do think that you see change, but you might have to sort of strap in and understand that it might take 10 years, it might take 15 or 20 years, it's going to take as long as it takes. um, but it's unfortunately it's just not a quick process.
There's a quote from Schopenhauer that Joseph Campbell used in Hero with a Thousand Faces. Maybe it was Hero with a Thousand Faces, or maybe it was Primitive Mythologies. But I know it's Joseph Campbell quoting Schopenhauer. And I kind of hang my hat on this quote, like in my own immature way, be, because the quote is, "Nothing truly great matures quickly," as
Mm-hmm.
in n nothing that is really outstanding or impactful happens fast. There's lots of stuff that happens fast, and there's maybe even impactful things that happen fast, but the truly great things, I mean, it takes time. Is It's going to take more time than it took for that damage to happen for the cure to take place,
Mm-hmm.
possibly.
Yeah.
But nothing great matures quickly. Like I said, Schopenhauer and Campbell both use that. I think that applies to here, and it applies to life also. Life's
Yeah,
a
and
garden, you got to dig it.
and I think to the person who submitted that question, obviously my perspective on that now is much different than it would have been, 20 years ago, or maybe even 15 years
Yeah,
ago. um, and it's one of those things that, once you're sort of outside of that way of thinking, you look back on it and it seems like the simplest answer in the world. Like, I hear a question like that, and my response now is, dude, you got to be happy. Like, if this person makes you happy, if they're
yeah,
kind, if they love you, what else could anybody ask for in life? Like, who cares? But I know, because I remember what it was like being on the other side of that, and I remembered that I cared very deeply. uh,
yeah,
and a lot of that is because of the type of pressure that this person said they were feeling from this social group or community group, or the tribe that they were a part of. Like, that stuff means an awful lot when you're on the inside, and when you're on the outside and you haven't replaced that yet, you still care a lot about what those people think. But it would be tough for me to have a conversation with a person who was still in that and asking for my advice, because my advice would be, just do,
Get
just be
out.
happy, just get out. Yeah, just get out.
It's funny to me how for probably a lot of for maybe most of the population in this world, those words unequally yoked would probably mean nothing.
Nothing. They'd be like,
But
what
it's
does that mean?
it's kind of a code. It's like some inside baseball. Like
Yeah, for sure.
that term hits me very deeply,
Mm-hmm.
like in
Yeah.
a very
yeah,
specific way. Because
Yeah, for sure.
I can also think about how I heard it applied to divorce. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so if
hmm
one party had been divorced and was remarrying, they would be unequally yoked. Primarily, it was referred to when you're talking about a believer marrying an unbeliever, but it applied to much more than just that.
I always, even as a kid growing up in the church that we grew up in, Justin, I was always struck by the hypocrisy of how unevenly that was applied. Because there were people who were in various leadership positions, or at least people who I would say were probably considered well-respected members of the congregation, who had been divorced and remarried, and they had been going to the church, and it was maybe a little bit of an open secret. I don't think they talked about it an awful lot, but they were there, and they were not prohibited from bringing their talents to the church or serving on boards or serving on committees. They weren't socially ostracized. But there were other people who, or maybe it was like a kind of kicking the ladder out from underneath you. Like once they had arrived, but they weren't probably going to give that same grace to people who were going through that same situation. Like their advice would be, well, don't look at me because my situation doesn't apply. But yeah, no, you definitely can't get divorced, or you definitely shouldn't. If you're single, you should not pursue a relationship with somebody who has previously been married. Like they would say, you absolutely can't do that. Never mind the fact that they did.
Hmm. Well, that's kind of the same
Hmm.
bait and switch as to what this person is describing, where at first she was at first she was welcomed in
Yeah,
and said, "Hey,
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
accept you where you are. We'll come alongside you. You're welcome here to heal and grow and all that kind of stuff." But then once you're in, then it changes.
oh sure, yeah,
Once you're
yeah.
in, the rules change, and now you gotta you gotta get right.
yeah. No, there's a lot of churches that are real big on come as you are. Like we accept everybody, but that only goes so far. Like you're not going to unlock the premium tier unless you're willing to make some pretty big changes.
Yeah. So what was remind me what was her question?
Basically, how does she find? My question is, how do you let go of spiritual trauma when your logic has deconstructed, but your nervous system hasn't? How do I hold genuine happiness while grieving the faith I was taught? How do I silence a voice that won't listen to reason?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do I find peace?
I'm curious. Were there any responses to that you found meaningful or useful?
Yeah, I mean, there was just the one that I remember, which was the first answer, and it was multiple paragraphs long, but they summed it up with the first sentence, which was you already know the answer,
Hmm.
which was along the lines of what we're saying, like get out, get out. What I was gonna say is, and we can move on to the next question after this, is that the Buddhists have a noble eightfold path on how to escape suffering, and the first step on that, or one of the first steps, is the right view, as in observing reality. I say it this way: observing reality on reality's terms, not with all the baggage that you put on it or the baggage that other people put on it, but look at it at what it really is. Like you're in a healthy relationship right now. It's probably not perfect. No relationship is, but you're in a relationship that's good enough right now. It's healthy. He loves you. He loves your kid. He, loves the idea of having kids and yada yada. Um, don't put the extra stuff on it. Right view. Look at it for just what it is, without all of the extra luggage.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, we got two more questions in religion, but we got some life advice or confessions. Do we want to stay in religion or jump to a different subject?
I'll take life advice for 100.
Life advice for 100. I F22. That always makes me nervous whenever I see that. I F22 do not have any friends and am immensely lonely. That's not funny.
Oh man.
However, I hate being around people. What is wrong with me? I basically hit rock bottom at my 22nd birthday this year. Nobody remembered my birthday except for my boyfriend. And yes, while I do appreciate him, I need more than just him in my social life to maintain the fundamentals of human nature and to prevent emotional dependency on him. He spent his birthday with probably 10 plus friends, while I didn't even get a single text on my birthday. It made me reflect on my life and what it could be and what it is not. I mean, this one's kind of a bummer. Um, I don't feel like I'm normal. Made me reflect. I don't feel like I'm normal. I was lonely on my birthday every day. I feel a bit of loneliness and sadness. I wish I had friends. I wish I could do fun things with people. I often do everything alone. I go out to eat alone, exercise alone, explore new places alone. I've gone to water parks alone, theme parks alone, etc. You name it, 60% of the time, I'd say I enjoy it though. Other times, I'm sad because I'm lonely and I cry alone. What's strange about this? I hate having friends. I hate being around most people. I was diagnosed with schizotypal, which may contribute to my social adaptability, social battery. I just don't understand how I crave what I hate. I can't stand being around most people for over 3 hours. This makes people not want to build connection with me, unable to do so, which is understandable. That's what she
Mhm.
says. Or, yeah, she says. I physically feel exhausted around most people. I cut people off like they mean nothing to me. I have people who want to go out to lunch with me, but I'd much rather go by myself and enjoy my own company. But then a day later, I cry because I'm lonely. I don't know why I'm like this. I reflected on why I'm able to enjoy my boyfriend's presence 100% of the time without getting exhausted by it, and wondered why I'm not able to feel the same way towards anyone else. And I've came to the conclusion that maybe I also have narcissistic characteristics about myself that I cannot gain satisfaction, joy from people without them loving me, benefiting me consistently. I've never been able in the social crowd in general. I've never been in the social crowd in general. I'm a 22-year-old woman and I've never been to a club, a bar, a concert. I don't drink or smoke. Okay, now we're on to
That's your
something.
problem.
I get a lot of compliments. Yeah.
Have you
I get a lot of
considered that?
compliments
Have you considered smoking?
that yeah, that'll solve a lot of this. I get a lot of compliments almost daily and random people trying to hit on me weekly, so I understand I am a woman who physically is very approachable. It's my personality that is dog shit, is her words, and I self-inflict all of this onto me, and I've made it my reality. How do I make friends? Should I go to therapy
Yes.
first or reflect on all of this before I do so? What is wrong with me? Justin, kick it off.
Man, you're not going to hear me say this very often, but I might be unqualified to respond. Again,
So
not trying,
if you had a
not laughing
friend,
at
if you
anybody,
had
but
a
that's
friend,
good.
if you had a friend that said, if you had a friend that said, "You're my only friend. I'm comfortable with you, but I hate being around anyone else, and it really bothers me. I want to enjoy the world around me, so much so that it's affecting me. It's affecting my sleep. It's affecting my self-worth. How do I make friends? How do I enjoy being around? How do I make yeah, basically how do I
The
make friends and how do I enjoy people?
the overarching theme that I was thinking about as you were reading that was, are you sure that you? It sounds to me like you're pretty satisfied with yourself, and that maybe you think that you're supposed to have a bunch of people around. Like the idea of going to a water park or an amusement park by yourself, like it sounds to me like you're doing the thing. And if you hate being around people, why do you? It makes it feel like it's a an expectation that you're supposed to want these things, but maybe you don't actually. Maybe you're actually more satisfied than you think. Maybe people around isn't going to give you the satisfaction that you think it's going to.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that I was kind of thinking the same thing, Justin, because it sounded like the person was it sounded like they felt like maybe they were missing out on something, but it was because they just think that's how they're supposed to be. And
Right.
because they're not that way, they think that there's something wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I I have a little bit of experience, uh, at least with what I think this person was feeling. And I remember one time specifically, I remember I was at work and I was sitting in my cubicle and I heard a group of people coming down down the corridor. And I thought to myself, oh God, they're going to ask me to go to lunch with them and I don't want to go to lunch with them. And they kept on walking and it hurt my feelings because I didn't want to go to lunch with them, but I kind of wanted them to ask me to go to lunch with them. And I probably would have because, I'm not a guy who, at least in the past, was really able to say no to people, but I was prepared to be annoyed. And then I got annoyed because it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to.
Hmm.
And so I remember thinking, like, yeah, this is the level of fucked up that I am. Like, this is who you're dealing with, people. Um, so I did actually resonate a little bit with that, with the idea of not wanting to do something, but also feeling excluded by it. And that's a very unique type of pain. Like when you feel excluded, like specifically excluded, like when you see people doing things
Hmm.
and they don't ask you to join them, or whether it's on purpose or not, when you feel like you're not part of a group, that can be very painful. So I understand a little bit, I think, where this person is coming from. But I guess what I would say is, like, you it doesn't have to be an all or nothing kind of thing. Like
Right.
she gave the example of, there's people who ask me to go to lunch, but she doesn't want to spend that much time or whatever. Like, you're in charge of you. Like, if your social battery will allow you 45 minutes or 30 minutes and then you have to tap out, well, you can set those rules. Like, you can say to somebody, hey, I don't have time for lunch, or I'm not in the right headspace for lunch or dinner today, but maybe we could grab a coffee. Like, or you don't have to make an evening of it. Like, you don't have to, not everything has to be a full-on best friend relationship. Like, you can sort of do what you're comfortable doing. And like, in terms of how, this person doesn't know how to make friends, like, I think if you find something you enjoy doing, right? What, like, Justin, I know you play in a pickleball league or soccer or something like that, right? Like,
Football.
uh, you go to concerts, you go to movies, like, if and it's painful and it's hard to, like, make yourself be open to interactions with other people, but I suspect that if you did open yourself up to just a conversation, or even just making yourself say, hey, how are you? Or this is fun, or this is boring. What do you think? Like, not everything has to be everything,
Hmm.
but I think that it's the sort of thing where if you
Yeah.
open yourself up to at least having interactions with people, I think the universe is going to put people in your way that you could have relationships, or at least some sort of community with, even if it's not, a full on best friend type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I I hate to say this because it's almost it sounds dismissive, but it's honestly it's not meaning I don't that's not my intention for it to sound dismissive. But from my view, she's 22 years old and she's got some other things, whatever that she's dealing with. Everybody,
Yeah. Sure.
a lot of people have some obstacles in their wheelhouse that they're dealing with, and so she's not alone with that. But at 22 years old, she's still getting to know herself, and
Sure.
I mean, my simplistic answer is that you just have to get comfortable with yourself. You
Hmm.
have to learn to love yourself because I mean, she's saying that she's not comfortable with how she is. Like Justin was saying, is like maybe you've already found the answer. You just don't want that many people in your life. Well, if that's the case, then she needs to learn to accept that. If she does truly desire some more friends, then she needs to work on opening herself, taking baby steps, finding a specific thing and going into that. And like I said, opening yourself up to saying hi. to someone, whether it's at work, it's at the gym, it's at I mean, a restaurant's kind of different because there's no real social pressure to talk to someone there. But like if you were to join a soccer league or a jujitsu gym or an archery club or a painting class or whatever, um, start taking music lessons, start putting yourself in areas where it's expected to have some sort of interaction with people. And not saying you have to commit whole hog, like you can still, not engage, but by putting yourself in these positions, you at least have more of an opportunity to do so. But sh- she needs to accept herself.
Hmm.
She needs to learn to find out who she truly is. And at 22 years old, she is not the only one that hasn't figured out who she is yet.
No, I would say
It hasn't
most
figured out.
22-year-olds don't have a clue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder, I wonder if from a generational thing too, if there's not a misconception of the difference between friends and acquaintances and followers and Facebook friends and whatever. Like I think that the truth is, if her boyfriend may have had 10 plus people at his birthday celebration, chances are good that there's probably only a couple of those people that he would call genuine true friends. And I think that sometimes
Yeah.
I think that it's real easy to just quantify friendships, or I guess degrade ourselves based on the number of people rather than the depth of those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
Yeah.
that one or two really close friends for me, I think is more important, and I prefer that to 10 loose acquaintances or 10 people that I can get along with everybody. Like
Yeah,
I get along with
for sure.
99% of the people that I come across, but they don't know my story.
Some people hate that about you.
That's the 1%.
Yeah,
I
for
found
sure.
myself as I was on my commute earlier this week. I found myself getting down in a rabbit hole of this particular artist, Ben Folds. You guys know Ben Folds? Ben Folds Five. Um, I used to listen to
Yeah.
him an awful lot, and I hadn't listened to him for years. And I was listening to this song called, interestingly enough, it's called "Learn to Live with What You Are." And there's a line in that song that had always really spoken to me, and I listened to it again just yesterday. And it says, "Sometimes everything you've ever wanted floats above, sticking out its tongue and laughing, while everything that anyone could ever need is down below, waiting for you to notice." And I think that, Justin, what you were
Mm.
saying about how, this person seems to feel some pressure to be something that they're not, when if they could really just kind of lean into just being okay with who they are, they might find that everything that's they think is floating around up here that they're trying to grab and they can't get to, if they would just kind of look around them, they would probably find that most of what they need is already there. And it could be that they're trying to answer a question that they've already answered.
That sounds like something that
Yeah.
Clayton has said before, because it applies to much more than just relationships.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
the kingdom is within.
Yeah.
I came up with that all on my own.
I think Jesus stole it.
Um, what? You didn't know this, but me and Jesus are actually. All right. So I'm gonna go to confessions, and I'm gonna just read the headlines from each one of these, and you guys pick. It's either any of these are good. This is gonna be a little bit of levity from the previous two. Although I think we're knocking it out of the park, fellas. I
I
think
think
all
this
three of
advice
us are
is spot
doing
on. I hope they hear this. I hope somehow it makes its way to them.
well. Yeah, and I think everyone, all listeners, if they're truthful, have dealt. I mean, this is a part of the human condition.
Sure.
Okay, this is confessions. And like I said, I'm just going to read the title and we'll pick which one. The first one It irritates me when a stranger twists my front doorknob before or after knocking. Okay. That one I have a lot to talk about. I'm second one, I'm terrified of dinosaurs. Okay.
Okay.
No problem there
Number
because
three,
they're not real.
we we okay. Number three, will grill so I can watch my husband tan. I think that's fun, and I already like this chick. Hopefully, well, I already like this person
Say
who
that one
wrote that
again. Say
because
that
just
one
because
again.
will grill, as in I will go outside and grill so I can watch my husband tan.
Okay. So she's out
And
there.
this, there's
She's
actually
out
a
there
lot
cooking
to
up the
it.
steaks, and he's got his little folding aluminum foil thing, and he's just catching the rays.
Now, I read all of these when I was copying and pasting them onto my Google document here, but I think there's actually a lot to unpack in number three. This could even go to advice. We might have to give this lady some advice.
See, to me, that doesn't really feel like much of a confession. That like this is something that like I mean, I don't know. It just seems like something somebody might do.
Okay, so I think Will Grill is good. Would anyone like to jump to dinosaurs or when strangers twist my front doorknob before or after knocking? We want to
I
hit
mean,
one of those first?
I think we can fly by that one.
Yeah, like
So
Okay.
what I'm picturing is knock, 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 no answer, turning like the doctor would do.
yeah,
Like
knock, knock,
you're in the
knock,
doctor's
coming in.
office, just a
Okay.
warning, more of a warning than a request.
Yeah, like hey,
That's
I'm coming in.
yeah. Is that what's happening, or what's the background on that one?
Okay, this is a short one. We can do this one quick. It irritates me when a stranger twists my front doorknob before or after knocking. Like, are they assuming they will just come walking right in my house had I not locked my front door? Yes. I always make sure my doors are secured and locked just in case if such a thing happens. And this was in confessions in a subreddit on confessions. So I have to assume that this has happened to this person.
Yeah, I'm
Have you
just
That's a
guys
wondering
ever
weird.
had someone?
what kind of psychopath would do that? Like,
Like where? Yeah. What's the environment? Do you live in a doctor's office?
How about to say?
Like,
I'm
is this
going
a
for my
community?
gun. If well, I'm quickly grabbing something. Me and Justin have talked before on how everybody's flight, fight, or freeze. There might be
yeah,
another F, but
fawn,
flight, fight, or freeze, or fondle.
fawn.
That. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a baby
How
deer.
everyone's reaction is okay. Okay.
Yeah,
How everyone's reaction is different, and how it's actually intelligent. Like you can make sense of everybody's different reaction. But if I hear anyone trying to open my door and then start knocking, I'm gonna be pretty upset and I'm gonna be pretty
Yeah.
wound up pretty
yeah.
quick.
This seems like a no brainer. The only time I think I would ever do that, like if I'm going to like a party, right? I'm going to a Christmas party or a Halloween party at my homie's house. He knows I'm coming. They even see me through the glass door,
Sure.
but I'm not just going to open the door and go in. I'm going
Yeah.
to knock, 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 and then I'm going to go in because they know they're
Yeah.
expecting me. They know I'm coming. If I was going to a friend's
Yeah.
house and they weren't expecting me, I would not do that, right? I would only do that if I was expected, or if they saw me through the door and it's like, oh, hey, T-Bone's here. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not going to wait for you to come open the door. I'm going to give you a courtesy knock. I'm here. And then I'm going to go in carrying my tray of nachos or whatever I brought to the party. I can't imagine
That's why
going
you
to
get
somebody's
invited to
house
so many
that I don't
parties.
know because
That's
I brings the snacks.
maybe our 22-year-old friend needs to start bringing nachos to the event.
Honestly, that's probably not a
Yeah.
terrible idea.
That'll
That's-
make her popular.
Have you tried bringing snacks?
It's Nacho
Be
Grill.
more likable.
Yeah.
Be more
I can't.
likable.
I can't imagine a scenario where a stranger is doing that though. That doesn't compute.
No, that's
I mean, I have to
I
assume
feel
it's
like
happened if they're willing to post this
this can't be
confession.
a real problem for most people. Like
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
if you live someplace where this is happening, you need to probably move. Like there's bigger things going on in that neighborhood than you being annoyed by this psychopathic behavior.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that one's fake news. Okay, so we can come back to dinosaurs hopefully later. Um, Let me get to this will grill so I can watch my husband because I think this is fun, but like I said, I think there's some things to unpack here. As the title says, I don't care for grilling. It's the only time I really cook as my husband loves cooking inside. He enjoys baking and making anything pasta related to show off his skills to me, though he's been really into making pizzas for me. But sometimes I'll decide I want to grill hamburgers or hot dogs or anything really, and he'll decide to relax in the sun. I know this, which is the only reason I like to grill in the first place. And he's got these banana shorts that he wears. Don't even remember where they came from, but he loves wearing them while chilling outside in the sun. And where, oh God, he's got banana sunglasses to match his shorts. I can't stand them, but he loves them, so I love them. And while I'm watching them, our son chills in the kiddie pool. He'll just lay there because he likes the warm water. I love grilling days. I think this family's got some stuff going on. There's a lot that I don't personally like. There's some
Okay.
things that I don't personally like about this whole situation.
Yeah. Speak on it.
The kid who loves laying in warm water, hey, that's kind of concerning. I
How'd that
mean,
water get
I
warm? That's what I
lukewarm
want to know.
water. Yeah. And who enjoys warm water?
I mean, me, I, I I'm
Okay.
yeah, I'm not trying to go to a pool and be cold.
Well, I think
Okay.
there's a spectrum there, right? Like you don't
And
necessarily want
Justin's
the
on it.
water to I don't think you want the water to be frigid. I think
I don't
personally
want it to be refreshing.
so you what do you want? What do
Yeah.
you like?
Warm.
85 degrees? You want that water like a bath when you're in the pool?
You
You
Yes.
want to
want it
take a
like a
bath outside?
Yes. Ideally.
Gross.
okay. Well, yeah, I
Like if I'm getting in a pool, I don't want to have to do the thing where I just
yeah,
ease myself. I don't want to move around. I just want to be in the water and
but
just feel nothing.
I think there's a perfect temperature for that though. I think once you get like around 80, 82 degrees, if it's hot outside and you're in the water and it's about 80 degrees, you're going to jump in and you're going to think, "Oh, that feels great." You're not going to be turning blue, you're not going to be
Yeah.
shivering. When it's
If
around
it's
like
hot.
70, if it's hot out, 77,
Yeah.
78, there's a big difference in those 2 degrees.
Well, you
And
shouldn't be swimming if it's not 80 degrees.
no, I don't mean the
Are you,
outside temperature. I mean the water
Hmm.
the
temperature. If the
water.
water temperature is 78 degrees, you'll get used to it after a few minutes and it'll start to feel good. But when you first step in, you're going to
Yeah.
do that. Ooh, that's cold. You got to like,
Yeah.
and you're going to ease into it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
So,
interested in that. That's a
so,
shitty party.
Hmm.
so when this person says my kid likes laying in warm water, I don't really know what that means. Do you mean 80 degrees where it's just sort of like, you know, sort of room temperature and it feels okay, but it's not cold? Or are we talking about bath water 85, 87 degrees?
I
That's a little warm for a pool.
I guess I guess we can let the kid go just because he's so young and he's living in an obviously dysfunctional house. What I have a real problem with What I have a real problem with is the dad who doesn't like grilling. I'm okay with you're into baking and making pasta and pizzas. I'm actually into that myself. But the dad who doesn't like grilling, at least hamburgers and hot dogs, um, I'm not okay with that. And I guess the spouse who wrote this, there's something kind of endearing about it, like it's something kind of cute about her wanting to go out or them wanting to go outside to cook just to watch their partner enjoy the time. I really don't like the dad who doesn't decide to grill, and so much so where he decides time to go outside and is. I'm not mad at the banana shorts and the banana sunglasses. I might even respect that a bit, but I just don't like the fact that he doesn't even want to grill.
I mean,
Am I bad on that? Am I
it calls into question his patriotism, and I guess I'm making
That's
an
what I'm gonna
assumption
say.
that
Yeah.
this is an American family. So, like
I would
yeah.
assume a Russian spy. Like if the
that's
like that's what I would be. Some
Yes.
sort of sleeper agent is what I would be thinking.
yeah, that's
I'm not letting
probably the
my kid
most.
spend the night at this kid's house.
No,
Yeah,
no.
no,
No.
that's how you develop peanut allergies. Going to a place like that. Um,
Yeah,
I
for
I
sure.
eat
For sure.
both times you've referred to banana shorts, and each time I think you're about to say banana hammock, and
Hammock, but I
I'm
don't.
not I'm not sure
But I
what
don't.
what are banana shorts? Are they just yellow shorts?
I'm just imagining some kind of shorts that have a banana print on them, like some funky swim trunks you'd get at
Yeah.
Old Navy or something
Okay,
that have like a
I
banana
think I might
print.
actually have swimming trunks that have bananas on them,
yeah,
if
I
I'm being truthful. Yeah, I think.
I can imagine them being cool.
Yeah, I mean, does it say whether
Yeah.
it doesn't say that the guy's a vegetarian or a vegan or anything, does it? Like, there's no other qualifiers
Mm,
there. He just doesn't enjoy the process of cooking
Mm,
meat outside.
yeah, and I guess that's what I'm judging him for the most is he doesn't enjoy grilling at all. I mean, how primal is it? Like that's like mowing the lawn or changing a tire. Maybe not changing a tire because that can be a bad situation, but like mowing the lawn or fixing a ceiling fan, something like I know I'm speaking generally, and maybe I'm, overly assigning gender roles here. Well, I'm obviously over assigning gender roles, but I do feel like that is just a primal thing. Like, hey, Dad, go take care of this. Dad, we got some hot dogs to grill. Hop on it. I feel
So,
like even if go ahead.
well, not to be a buzzkill because I hear what you're saying. I do have a real world example, and it's an edge case, right? This is probably a very rare situation. But I know a guy who was in the army and he was bitten by a tick on he was on some sort
Yeah,
of overnight training thing and he developed an allergy to red meat. So we've gone
yeah, it's
over to
part
their
of
house
Lyme
a couple of
disease.
times. Yeah, it's not Lyme disease, but I think it's in the same family. It's a tick-borne illness that
Uh-huh.
he if he eats it's very weird. Like he can't eat chicken, he can't eat beef, he can eat. So we've gone to their house a couple times. His wife has done the grilling, and she'll make like emu burgers or ostrich burgers or something. Like there's some types of meat that he can
Mm.
eat, but
snake
if he eat snake meat, is that what you said? Snakes,
snake burgers.
snake burgers? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Uh, so I could see if the process of eating a hamburger would make you violently ill, I could see not wanting to cook them, right? You don't want to stand over the grill smelling the stuff that, makes you think about if I took a bite of this, I'd be in the hospital or I'd spend the next 3 days in bed because my body would be racked with pain. I feel like that's an edge case. I don't know I don't think it's safe to assume that that's the type of situation, but just to put it out
I
there,
feel like that information would have been added.
there are one or two scenarios where I could see, okay, that makes sense. I could see why you might not want to do that. But even then, though, maybe even being outside while it's being cooked, I don't know. Maybe that's still too close to it, so maybe it wouldn't apply.
I think in terms of
Yeah.
advice, she probably just needs to check his credentials, figure
Yeah,
out like
check
what.
that birth
Yeah.
certificate. Make sure
Yeah,
that passport's not fake.
Does he look like his parents? Have you met his parents? What was
Yeah,
that situation like?
does he pronounce any words wrong? Like, do you ever just heard
Yeah.
him say something and be like, "Well, that's weird"?
just sounded really Russian there for a second.
Does he call people? Does he call his buddies comrades sometimes? I don't know. There's some things to unpack there. You're right, Clayton. I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but I think your concerns are well founded.
Okay, thank you. We got two shorter. We definitely don't have to get through all of these, but we got two shorter religion questions. We got two shorter life advice questions, and we have one more confession.
I'm gonna say I'm kind
What
of
do we want to round this out with?
I'm at least interested to hear the person who's scared of dinosaurs. Like what
Yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about that.
Okay. I'm terrified of dinosaurs, is the header. I have an extreme fear of dinosaurs. When I was 4 years old, I remember waking up to the news about Jurassic Park ride opening at Islands of Adventure in Orlando. It scared me half to death and gave me nightmares for a few years. Okay. About 3 or 4 years later, I was dragged into Bill Nye Ellen DeGeneres ride at Epcot and was hyperventilating and sobbing the entire time. When I was 12 or 13, I assumed the fear would be gone and agreed to go to the Jurassic Park ride. I had the worst anxiety attack of my life and couldn't even look up to see the animatronics for most of the ride. Still to this day, I can't handle animatronic dinosaurs. I can't handle the thought of dinosaurs at all. I can't swim in any body of water that's not clear to the bottom, and I can't shut my eyes underwater. I have to wash my face on one side at a time so I don't close both eyes and watch while a dinosaur tries to kill me. I'm so glad dinosaurs are dead, but I wish they were forgotten. Is this real? Do you think this is real?
I feel like somebody might be trolling a little bit. And can we go
Okay.
back to the Bill Nye and Ellen DeGeneres ride at what?
That sounds horrible.
Epcot?
Uh,
Is
was
there a
Ellen
Bill Nye and
DeGeneres?
Ellen
Was she like?
DeGeneres
Did
ride?
she do like a dinosaur voice or something? And Bill Nye the Science Guy was. I don't know. I don't understand that.
And I was hyperventilating and sobbing the entire time.
Well, I mean the
That
good.
was about 3 or 4 years later, so that was when they were 8.
Okay. Well, the good news for this person is I feel like this is a situation that you're going to be able to control pretty well. Like if you don't want to see the animatronic dinosaurs, just don't go to the nature museum when the dinosaur exhibit comes through town.
Yeah,
Not to make light of their fear, but I just feel like that's one of those things where you can police that
I would
pretty
never.
closely.
The power is
Uh,
within you.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got to learn to love and accept yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that was pretty good. There's still some more meat on this bone on this list, and we can add do this again. I like this version of Garbage Boys. It doesn't have to
Uh,
be in every Garbage Boys thing, but I like garbage advice.
yeah, no, I think it should stay in the rotation. I like it.
Yeah.
The hottest garbage
I
advice
think
in
we knocked
town.
it out of the park.
Yeah.
For sure. For
Good
sure.
job, boys.
All right. Well, we're hitting the 2 hour mark. You guys have had an extra special treat. The cream has risen to the top. You guys have had garbage advice. Oh, yeah. Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
I will never get tired
Yeah.
of my bros doing Macho Man voices.
Hell yeah. All right.
Good stuff.
Well,
Good stuff.
I found out during this recording that someone knocked over. See that we're I'm mad at them, but I think this is actually my fault. I changed oil in my son's vehicle the other day, and I have a big 20 gallon is it gallon or liter? 20 liter um oil reservoir that I got from Auto or O'Reilly's a couple years ago, and I've held on to that thing because I can do two car changes easily, and there's
Yeah.
still plenty of room in this bad boy. Well, I changed my son's oil the other day and was waiting to change the oil in my Jeep, but story for another time. I'm not able to change the oil in my Jeep right now. And so I had it sitting on top of my toolbox, the oil reservoir. Well, while we were recording, I found out that someone knocked over that oil reservoir in my garage.
Mm,
And I hope that they possibly found a solution to this self-inflicted problem, but I'm guessing that
I,
they haven't. So I
I,
have
I'm,
something to take care of after this.
I want to hold your hand when I
Go
tell
ahead,
you this,
Tiba.
Clay. I said I want to hold your hand when I tell you this, buddy.
Yeah.
They have not taken care of it.
They have not, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I have a couple loyal listeners that are probably part of this problem, at least one. It's my fault. It's my fault. I should have taken care of
yeah,
the oil. I shouldn't have left it out
In
there.
dude,
the
This is
in the
my
larger
fault.
sense, yes, probably, but
that's
you know,
that's a hard
Yeah.
that's a hard journey between changing the oil and getting the oil taken to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or wherever you can dump it. Like
that's why I would never change my own
Oh, is that
oil.
what you're supposed to do?
that's re- or dump it in the backyard, wherever you find. That's a big step.
Yeah,
I mean, that's bigger than doing the laundry and folding it and putting it away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just it's hard.
Same thing with car batteries. Like
Yeah,
it's easy to
Yeah.
change a car battery, but then you got to take that car battery to either AutoZone
A landfill.
or dump it in
uh,
the creek
just
behind your house. If you have
just
one, I guess.
if you put it in a trash bag, trash men don't.
They
It's
don't
kind of like
check.
They
They
don't
don't
go through
check.
your trash. Yeah.
it's
No.
kind of like when I had that entire cow that I had to throw in the trash. Uh, they're
Just
not
Okay.
digging.
couple
I don't
bags.
feel as
Just
bad.
a couple chunks of bloody meat, 300 pounds at a time. Uh, as long as you tie it up, you're good.
Yeah.
No
Put
questions
it at the
asked.
bottom.
Yeah.
Put it at the bottom of the can. Put a couple normal bags on top of it. The lifter is going to do all the work. They're not even going to probably get out of the truck, honestly.
Yeah. No,
No.
you're good.
No. Okay. Well, this has been extra special garbage boys. This has been garbage advice. If you would like us to answer your questions or hear your confessions, write in at podcastlawless@gmail.com. Leave us a comment on any of the platforms you're listening to this on. We'll read them. And yeah, until next time, this has been Clayton, Justin, and T Bone filling you guys with some garbage advice. Love y'all. Have a good one. Bye, homies.
Later, bro.